less than an hour and a half north of Milwaukee is the colossal Road America circuit in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And this year it celebrates its 65th anniversary season with something special, a doubleheader in the NTT IndyCar Series. Let's go! The 2020 season is underway. Two rookies have their maiden race ended with a huge crash.
What a run he had going. He can't believe it.
Nice work, dude.
Pagenaud from 20th to 3rd.
Utter dominance, 2 races in a row to start this 2020 season.
That was awesome, guys.
There's no question there is only one Road America. There is nothing quite like this place in North America. And again today, it's exceptional because look there, race fans are here, and that is a first in the NTT IndyCar Series for 2020. We are so pleased to see the fans here. And we're so pleased to see you. Hi folks, Lee Diffie along with Paul Tracy and Townsend Bell. We're ready to get this going. It's round 3 of 14 for 2020 and the first race is coming up of this double header weekend. PT, Townsend, double header weekend. It's warm, it's in the 80s here today. Not quite as hot as what it was a week ago at Indy. What's this going to be like? What are these double header weekends like in addition with the aero screen?
Well, they are already tough, but as you say, with the aero screen now, the drivers are sort of trapped in that cocoon of still hot air. And at Indy a week ago, it was very tough for the drivers to hang on for one race, let alone 2 this weekend under the Wisconsin sun. Paul, it's going to be a long, hard 2 races.
It's already been a long, hard day. We've had a long practice session, a grueling, brutal qualifying session, and now we have an afternoon race, long duration corners, much different than the Indy GP, hard, high G brake zones. These guys are going to be spent by the end of the day.
All right, former Penske driver Paul Tracy, Penske dominance in qualifying, 1, 2, 3. Joseph Newgarden's got 2, Will Power 1. They haven't been able to convert it to a win. Is that going to happen today?
No conversion so far, but Joseph Newgarden has been very quick in qualifying. Had some bad luck last week with a yellow. We got to see how this all plays out today, but he's in a good position.
Townsend, real quick, Jack Harvey got denied again.
Fantastic result, though. Starting on the front row, that Meyer-Shank team is pushing every weekend. Exceptional performance. Look for that young driver to be strong all day.
Speaking of exceptional performances, Scott Dixon, the 2-time winner this year, is with Dave Burns.
Well, Lee, the 5-time champion has a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 2006, win more than 2 races in a row. And so, Scott, after dominating at Texas and a fortunate and very good win last week at the Indy GP, are you ready for another here today at Road America?
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be an interesting weekend. You know, these double headers, you know, the lack of practice, you've got to roll off well. Definitely the first session we didn't do that very well. Seems like some of the other cars are a little bit closer, so we'll see what we can do there. But it's going to be hard, you know, pretty brutal, I think, just on the drivers for physical fitness and probably mental capacity, but also the crews. You know, you have to rebuild cars after tonight, and hopefully we can get through smoothly. But we'll be going for a man, we'll be going for a win.
How tough will the overnight be to get ready for tomorrow's race as well?
It's always tough, but I think just longer hours. You know, you just hope that nobody makes any mistakes or you know, misses something on the car. But I feel like it's going to go pretty smoothly. I hope it does, and you know, have another race tomorrow. It's a fantastic weekend for everybody. I think it involves especially the fans to get 2 full-length races in.
That's right. We can see fans. It's an awesome thing. James Hinchcliffe.
Here with Alexander Rossi. Alex, practice is done. How do you think the car translates from last year's dominant performance? Do you guys have the same speed? It looks like across all the cars, Andretti Autosport's pretty quick.
Yeah, I think so. I think we accomplished what we wanted to, and we rolled off strong with the car we had last year. So that's a positive. Still dealing with problems behind me. So we're hoping to work through that, and obviously it's a condensed day, so the guys have a big task ahead of them, but we have the best hands on deck, so hopefully we can get the AutoNation and Andretti Honda back on track and running smoothly again.
Bad luck's kind of been the topic for you the first 2 races. What have you guys done differently? Do you have any lucky charms bolted in the car? Did you do anything different?
No, maybe that's where we're going wrong, honestly. I mean, we brought a whole new car here, so you know, theoretically that should have crossed off all the issues. Unfortunately, it hasn't yet, but still some time ahead of us. Glad it happened early on, and we can get on top of it now. Absolutely.
Well, 2 races to forget in the books, but 2 chances here to make it right. Lee?
Nice to have 6-time IndyCar race winner and Indy 500 pole sitter James Hinchcliffe as part of the team. There it is, Road America, the 4-mile playground. When we come back, it's time to bring the action, IndyCar style. Welcome to IndyCar Racing from Road America. This telecast presented by Liberty Mutual. 23 cars, 55 laps. It's 220 miles in duration. And to get things going, let's go trackside for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in all of sports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal from the Virginia Beach Fire Department, Cleon Jones.
To the race fans at home and the race fans at the track, we're back. Drivers, start your engines.
Isn't it nice that the race fans can hear the cars fire up, and they'll see them race not only for today but tomorrow as well. One last time before the cars roll, let's join James Hinchcliffe.
Joseph Newgarden comes into 2020 as the reigning champ, which sounds great, right? Well, maybe not. It's been over a decade since the drivers gone back-to-back in the championship. Dario Franchitti in 10 and 11. That said, the 2 titles he had 1 win in the first 3 rounds. It's round number 3. He's starting on pole. Let's see if he can keep that streak alive. Dave?
Hinch, what a fantastic 2 weeks it's been for Graham Rahal. Last weekend at the Indy GP, a finish of 2nd, a race he surely was on the way to winning before an untimely caution flag changed everyone's strategy. This weekend, he's at a track he loves, Road America, and he qualified 4th today. Told me earlier, loves the way the car felt in qualifying and practice, and he could be on his way to his first win since 2017. Lee, hey, there's the sound of 700 horsepower leaving pit lane.
Yeah, it's been a while for the wins, between wins for Graham Rahal. Let's hope, and for his supporters, today could be the day. By the way, we want to thank our friends at Geico for this beautiful aerial coverage. We had it last week at Indy as well. Let's take a closer look at the track. T-Bell, take us around.
Well, right in the middle of this great state of Wisconsin is arguably the crown jewel, Road America, one of the best road courses in the world. It's 14 turns, 4 miles long, right on the nose, and it winds and ribbons its way across the rolling hills here. Interestingly enough, this is the greatest elevation change from bottom to top of any track on the schedule. It starts down in turn 1 as they come firing up the hill, down the front straightaway, and heavy braking for that fast 3rd gear corner. And there's a couple of great passing spots, including here at turn 3 and down here at turn 5.
So, pit lane is going to be interesting today because Race Control, IndyCar, have made an amendment. It's not the first time we've seen 2-phase pit speed limiters implemented. Today it's going to be 90 miles an hour for the first phase, then down to 45 seconds. They'll save about 6 seconds on the passage through when they stop, and it has worked successfully on ovals. So, as the cars roll, it's time to meet the field. Here we go.
Joseph Newgarden, Nashville, Tennessee.
Jack Harvey, Buzzingham, England.
Ryan Hunter-Ray, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Graham Rahal, New Albany, Ohio.
Will Power, Toowoomba, Australia.
Santino Ferrucci, Woodbury, Connecticut.
Colton Herder, Valencia, California.
Felix Rosenqvist, Värnamo, Sweden.
Scott Dixon, Auckland, New Zealand.
Marco Andretti, Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
Alexander Rossi, Nevada City, California.
Pato Award, Monterrey, Mexico.
Marcus Erickson, Kumla, Sweden.
Alex Palou, Barcelona, Spain.
Takuma Sato, Tokyo, Japan.
Rinus VK, Hoofddorp, the Netherlands.
I'm Simon Pagenaud, Montmorillon, France.
Max Chilton, Reigate, England.
Connor Daly, Noblesville, Indiana.
Zach Veach, Stockdale, Ohio.
Oliver Askew, Jupiter, Florida.
Charlie Kimball, Camarillo, California.
Dalton Keller, Toronto, Ontario.
As you can see, IndyCar drivers, the group is a diverse one from here in the States and all around the world. We have 8 onboard cameras to show you and enjoy the ride along. And we start right at the top with the 2-time defending champion, car number 1, the PPG Chevy, Joseph Newgarden, and the onboard brought to you by PPG. Also got a view from the Arrow McLaren SP of Pato O'Ward in the 5. And with thanks to Arrow, we'll have various views. His teammate Oliver Askew, with thanks to Mission Foods, has this view as well. And then the NTT data car of Felix Rosenquist, who is very determined to find his way to the podium and really get his season started here today at Road America. Total Quartz gives us Graham Rahall's view, and Graham has been in very good form, not only last week at Indianapolis on the road course, but here so far this weekend at Road America. He could be and should be a contender today. With thanks to Gainbridge, this is the 26 Andretti Autosport Honda and Zach Veach. What kind of a day will he have? He starts a little further back than where he would like to be. And with thanks to Auto Nation, this is the 27 of Alexander Rossi. And Rossi's right in the middle of the pack. What kind of a day is it going to be for Alexander, who dominated this race a year ago? He won by nearly 30 seconds. And his teammate at Andretti Autosport, the 88 of Colton Herder, also thanks to Auto Nation. So they're the various views we have for you today here at Road America. Ready to go in a moment. Now, the GMR Track Facts. Take a look at some pretty interesting facts and figures there of this monster of a track that every single driver loves. Guys, I asked the rookie Alex Palou, I said, hey, you've done plenty of sim work. Now you raced all over the world. What do you think of Road America now you've done a practice session? And he wrote back to me and he said, this place is amazing, in capital letters. He said, this is awesome. So we'll see what the day will be like for Alex Palou. Did you enjoy racing here, PT?
Oh, I love it. This was a great track for me. The whole state of Wisconsin was a great state for me. I won plenty of times here at the mile and here at Road America, but I'm telling you, we are in for a wild start. Pole position, Townsend, always isn't the prime spot. You actually can be in a better position getting in that draft and getting a slingshot into the brake zone.
Yeah, it's going to depend, too, on what sort of tires you're starting on there. You see on the left-hand side who's starting on the harder compound. Generally, these are the drivers that are going to gamble more. None of the drivers in the top 10 are on the softer red Firestone compound to start. So I'm looking at Rossi and Pagano, 2 multi-time race winners that are going to be rolling the dice to see what can happen over the course of 55 laps.
And this is just the beginning. 2 55-lap races, one today. It's 4 p.m. local time here, 5 Eastern. Ready to get going. They're going to do it all again earlier tomorrow. And the 2-time and defending champion on the pole position in that blue and white PPG Chevy, ready to go at Road America. Let's go. Ryan Hunter-Reay pushes up the inside of Jack Harvey in that yellow Andretti Autosport car and gets second. Awesome start from Captain America.
Jack Harvey got chewed up there by Rahal and Hunter-Reay, and Rahal and Hunter-Reay go wide, and there's craziness further back as Will Power in the silver Verizon cars hanging on, but look at Hunter-Reay and Graham Rahal challenging for the lead.
Harvey pushes to the inside, big draft now for Hunter-Reay. He pops out, and he's looking down the outside, which is the prime braking spot for turn 5. He might have it if he can outbrake Newgarden. Here comes Santino in the grass down the inside.
Harvey, I think Harvey may have got Rahal there. Ferrucci on the inside. Hunter-Reay goes around the outside of Newgarden, can't quite get it done, and now he defends for Rahal. What an opening lap.
Look at Colton Herder forcing his way through in the green and white car. They're side by side all the way back to about row 11.
Santino Ferrucci had contact with Will Power in the first corner, which has shuffled Will Power back as he looks down the inside of Dixon. And here's Simon Pagano trying to work his way through the field.
He's there, he's got Rinus VK pushing him along. That was a spectacular first 5 or 6 turns. VK around the outside in the carousel. Are you kidding?
That's brave.
That's a rookie on the Indy 500 champ. What a move.
That's a rookie with tremendous faith in himself and the cleanliness of the racetrack on the first lap. You could never do that past about lap 5 because of the marbles and the dirt that accumulates. What a pass, Paul. I've never seen that.
Oliver Askew taking a look now at the back of Pagenaud. Pagenaud's caught off, or that's Award. Pagenaud was caught off guard by that rookie going around the outside. Big off.
Is that Rossi? I think that might be Alexander Rossi.
And Rinus VeeKay is further back. I wonder if the big bold moves continued. Is that blue and white number 21? But everybody miraculously is going, and it is getting so aggressive. Marco Andretti has a banner on his front wing.
So does Rossi. I think he has a banner stuck across the front of his car. Look at his front wing. The flap is completely covered up. He's going to have to pit to pull that off.
Oh, what a shame for Marco Andretti. He started 10th. He was pleased with that. Erickson is now by Rossi. Here comes Pagenaud. Chilton on the inside.
Under the sign on the front wing there.
Under the front tire as well. He's going to try to weave back and forth to get that off. But this is big trouble as Will Power now is under pressure from Palou on the outside.
I think Marco Andretti needs to try to just come to a stop rather than risk pit lane as these guys side by side. Erickson makes the move.
He gets by Alexander Rossi at turn 5. So it's Joseph Newgarden, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Graham Rahal, and then Ferrucci. Wow, Erickson got loose there.
Just another race, more problems for Alexander Rossi.
This is
the right-hand side. You can see the sign here stuck to the front wing, and you can tell he's really struggling with understeer because of the loss of front downforce.
Oh, he's off big time again.
No, that's a replay, Paul, up top. And a miraculous save from Rossi to not lose the car and spin on the grass. That's an amazing piece of driving.
What an opening lap. My goodness.
Here he comes now, going to the fastest corner on the track. This is where it's really going to hurt you. That lost front downforce as Pagenaud now has got to run, and he's going to take a look.
And this is just so frustrating for Rossi. He knows if he pits, he's going to lose about 35 seconds. Here comes Connor Daly now. So he's trying to probably run the math in his head. It just can't be worth it as long as that piece of styrofoam is stuck there. It effectively is canceling all the downforce. So Zach Veach goes off.
Three Andretti cars have flown off in the same corner in the span of one lap.
There goes Rossi.
Rossi comes in.
Meanwhile, while those 3 Andretti cars have trouble, Ryan Hunter-Reay is still challenging for the lead of this race. Here is the AutoNation Honda of Alexander Rossi.
Okay, watch the speed coming in now.
Rossi is in. They're going to replace. No, they decided not to. Yep, they decided to leave the nose on just as it was. They get the debris cleared and change tires as well. Second set of new reds going on, that to note. Meanwhile, here comes Marco Andretti. He's got that big piece of styrofoam signage stuck to the right front. They cannot get it off, and he couldn't slow down enough on track to get it to fall off. You can see how well it was wedged on the wing adjustment screw there. They finally get it away. He keeps the tires on. He started the race with.
Townsend, did you see how hot the front brake was when that air was blocked off from the brake duct? His front wheel was absolutely smoking on fire.
Yeah, you really need the cooling from the brake ducts. Unfortunately for Andretti and Rossi, they're not inside the pit window for the 3 stops there unless there's a ton of yellow. So it really makes for a long day. It's going to be very hard to come back from that. And once again, we've documented the challenges to start Rossi's season. And this is just another huge blow to an already difficult start.
Dixon's moved up nicely up into the top 6. Exactly what he needs to do for the championship. Just keep working his way forward.
Dixon's made up 3 spots since this start. Charlie Kimball, the biggest mover in this opening passage. Kimball in the Traceba Chevrolet for AJ Foyt Racing has made up 7 spots. Let's go back a lap ago. Speaking of Charlie Kimball, there he is. Rinus VeeKay on the outside. We've already seen the Dutch driver put on a big move. Kimball comes across. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And VeeKay has to catch it.
He's got some car control down, so
he really does, and super brave. I'm still catching my breath from that rodeo-style move in the carousel on the opening lap on the outside.
VeeKay had some debris also on the front left.
Something's happened to VeeKay because he passed Pagenaud, and now he's fallen back a few places.
By the way, to add insult to injury, Marco Andretti is going to get a penalty for pit lane speed violation. Meanwhile, Joseph Newgarden in that PPG Paints Chevrolet for Team Penske. Pole position, race leader. It is looking good for the two-time champion. Peacock, NBC Universal's new streaming service, is filled with hit movies, current shows, sports, news, and exclusive originals. You can watch for free and upgrade for more. Join the flock at peacocktv.com. And remember, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. show, Lost Speedways, premieres this Wednesday, July 17, as we welcome you back to Road America. Lee Diffie, Paul Tracy, the two-time winner, Townsend Bell. We've got James Hinchcliffe, the mayor of Hinchtown, is in the bits with us, and Dave Burns as well on a beautiful day, low 80 degrees here in Wisconsin. And talk about big movers. We've already seen an amazing rookie move from Rinus VeeKay, and a fellow rookie is the Spaniard Alex Palou. He has made up 5 positions. There he is, driving the Dale Coyne Racing with Team Go Honda. This guy has been salivating about getting on the road courses, and I think today it just might suit him. He's doing it alone too. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, his girlfriend couldn't join him here and live with him throughout the season. He lives alone in Austin, Texas, and he is loving being in IndyCar racing. And quite a shift coming from racing in Japan last year, returning to Europe in the off-season, and now, for the time being, America is home.
It's such a great story to watch Alex Palou, and moving up at this point. Remember in practice earlier today, actually in qualifying, he had a pit speed limiter penalty. He was too fast on pit road. And so I sat down and I asked him, I said, now wait a minute, help me out. If the pit road speed is limited by the button, how can you speed? Townsend, I'm gonna let you explain it more, but he said we had a lot going on, telling what the car was doing, and at that time I did not brake and engage the limiter to the second speed of 45 miles per hour correctly.
Yeah, 2 pit speed lines. First one at 90, the second one at 45. It's a new thing they're trying this weekend to try to limit the total time the drivers spend on pit lane. But for Alex Palou, I think he should also be encouraged by his Dale Coyne, Vassar Sullivan teammate Santino Ferrucci, who made a really bold move on the start to go up to 4th as Will Power runs wide. And here comes Pato O'Ward.
Pato O'Ward looks like he's going to get a nice run down here, activate the push to pass. He gets a good drive off the corner. Will Power in trouble so far at the beginning of this race.
Grade 5, grade 5.
The drag race, the familiar drag race, down the hill into turn 5. It's a braking duel, and Power will win for the moment.
He's blocking the inside all over the place, Townsend.
This is the last thing Power needs. What Power needs is clean air and a chance to settle in and find that pace that Newgarden, his teammate, has up front. And he just needs a solid result. Let's hear some radio from Will Power.
Okay, what's the second gear meant to change? Because it hasn't. Dave made a mistake. Everything's okay here. I'm just dying out of the corners of the second. It's just a weird, but anyway, we'll deal.
So they're talking about gearing issues.
Yeah, gearing issues, something going on with second gear, not engaging the power as Pato O'Ward gets another nice run down the straight, a little bit too far back though, but he's definitely got the pressure on Will Power.
James, my guess is that the second gear he has is a little too tall and they're falling out of the optimal power range of the motor.
Let's conserve overtake.
Yeah, I think that
Power's going to use overtake to respond to you. Just settle in here and keep pushing his pace.
the lap times are a little bit slower than I think they were expecting. The heat of the day, it's made the track a little bit greasier. Lap time is not as good. That might not be the second gear that they wanted in that car.
Look at Rahal, Graham Rahal in that Total Quartz Honda pushing Ryan Hunter-Reay. This is the fight for second, and while they're consumed by each other, it's allowed Joseph Newgarden to skip away to almost a 3-second advantage.
That was a good run off the corner, Townsend. He's right there. Hunter-Reay is going to protect the inside, force him to the outside, but he's got the momentum. Can he outbrake him?
Watch Hunter-Reay. He gives the position up to Graham. So Graham with the kicker car.
Gone.
Hunter-Reay had turbulent air, runs wide. It'll be fascinating now to see what Graham Rahal can do to catch Joseph Newgarden. I think Graham Rahal has one of the best cars in this field, if not the best car. He showed it last weekend at Indianapolis. Now with clean air, he's going after Newgarden.
And Graham Rahal is a racer to the core. It doesn't matter where he starts in years past. We've seen him race from the back to the front. if he's up front, he'll be a factor for the win.
Look at how quickly he dumped Hunter-Reay. I know Hunter-Reay ran wide there, but that gap is growing so fast.
The familiar colors of the Sealmaster 18, Dale Coyne Racing with Vassar Sullivan right there on your screen, Santino Ferrucci. The best he has ever finished in an IndyCar race is 4th. Guess where he runs right now? In 4th.
Well, he's got the pressure on Hunter-Reay. I think Hunter-Reay's tires are starting to go away from him. He looks like he's sliding the rears a little bit down.
Well, Hunter-Reay and his Andretti teammates have really struggled on balance. They've had outlight pace, but on old tires, it's been a handful as we see a little more about the 18 young American, and what a start he had. Little bit of a touch there around the outside of turn 1, and then check this out coming to turn 5. Big and bold
on the grass. Just almost got with Jack Harvey. Harvey over to Rahal. It was an exciting opening lap for Santino Ferrucci. Thursday, 30 Rock returns for an all-new reunion. 30 Rock, a one-time special Thursday on NBC, and all 30 Rock episodes are available Wednesday on Peacock, NBC Universal's new streaming service. Welcome back to the REV Group Grand Prix at Road America. You're looking at the fight for 3rd place. Car on your right, the yellow DHL Honda of Ryan Hunter-Reay has really got his hands full with a hungry young man in his 2nd season in IndyCar. That's Santino Ferrucci, or Santucci, as Paul likes to call him.
And he is all over Hunter-Reay like that cheap suit you wear, Townsend.
Cheap as in free. Hunter-Reay has got his hands full, as you said, Lee, with a very loose-handling race car. All through practice, we watched the Andretti onboards, whether it was Rossi or Hunter-Reay or Colton Herder, and it was just all kinds of elbows to try to keep the thing on the road, looking for rear stability, and now those issues have revealed themselves here as Hunter-Reay is doing a great job to hang on to 3rd place, but there's just a whole pack of hard chargers coming. There's his teammate Colton Herder and Scott Dixon.
Rosenquist went up the inside, overshot turn 1, and Herder gets the position back.
We're coming into the window of pit stops. We're on lap 11. Guys are going to start pitting at between 12 and 14, so guys are hustling right now, trying to lay down the quick laps.
Last year, Alexander Rossi was in complete control of this race. He went 14.
Oh!
Ferrucci and Ryan Hunter-Reay, good driving, both drivers.
He was left, right, the shake and bake, baby.
Buddy, good job. Let's go back to map 2 when you get a chance.
Got really close there. I was thinking, oh, Ferrucci, just a little more patience. You've got a great podium, maybe better on offer today. That Sealmaster car checking out now. Clean air. He's going after Graham Rahal. 6 seconds to make up on the track, and now Hunter-Reay must be thinking, get me to pit lane soon.
Time for him to come in. Rinus VK, the rookie, just pitted, by the way. Rossi went 14 full laps in the lead last year. What's Joseph New going to do today as Jack Harvey now lines up for a shot in that AutoNation Sirius XM Honda? There he is. Front row start for Jack. He was swamped. And look at this for a little bit of over-under.
Inside, outside, back to the inside. He made Hunter-Reay commit to leave the lane open, Townsend. And you got to think that he's got a slight weight advantage over Hunter-Reay just in their size, and he's got a braking advantage.
Well, Hunter-Reay's so smart to just, you can tell he's driving to protect his equipment. The last thing that he wants is to have contact and take a potential top 5 kind of hanging on drive to something outside of the top 15. So very, very measured and experienced drive from Hunter-Reay. Make it difficult, but don't put the equipment at risk.
Well, you don't want to put your crew guys through that either, having to fix a wounded car overnight when you've got to line up tomorrow at 11 o'clock local time, 12 Eastern, for the second part to this doubleheader weekend. We're going to squeeze in a quick break and come back and catch pit stops because they are coming. The first of 3 stops. Back in a moment. There have been some loose estimates on just how many people are here, fans for the first time at an NTT IndyCar Series race. I would say broadly, we could expect this to be the largest sporting crowd assembled since live sport returned here in the United States, which is terrific to see the fans back and able to enjoy the sport that they love. Race leader is in. Joseph Newgarden has led every lap. And James Hinchcliffe is standing by. Hinch, take it away.
He's absolutely controlled this race. This is what he wants to see. He's going to come in. He's going to take off the red firewall tires. He's going to put on some sticker blacks. We're going to see if there's an adjustment to the front wing here. His teammate Simon Pagino not as happy with his race car. Put a lot of front wing in for the Reds. No adjustment so far. Little bit of front wing going in there. He said that Joseph's been very quiet on the radio. He's a very happy driver right now.
He is excellent at maintaining a gap as we see Santino pulling out. Pato Award back there pulling out. So we'll see where the gap sorts out. Rahal was kind of right there, about 2 seconds behind. Will this extra lap, a hot lap, Townsend give him an advantage?
Well, it's the overcut. Once again, Rahal demonstrating great pace and also great fuel mileage to stretch it an extra lap. What that'll give him the ability to do is to exit pit lane and try to maybe get his elbows out and defend a little bit on Newgarden and mix it up for the first time. We'll have to see how the stop goes as Oliver Askew rejoins.
Takuma Sato up the inside down into turn 3 in the Myjack Honda. There goes Taku. Race leader Graham Rahal has a healthy advantage at the moment. He's down the back part of the course. He's just exited Canada Corner, climbing this hill. Doesn't look that steep on television, but it is. Coming around to complete the lap. Expect Graham in. Here we go.
You need a monster in lap if he's been using the push to pass to get around on this lap. And here he comes. Dave.
Yep, all that extra turbo boost, giving him the best in lap he can possibly get. When I called Ram yesterday to talk about the race today and tomorrow, he was walking around with his dogs and his wife, enjoying Road America. He absolutely loves this place. He's been coming here since he was a young boy. Granddad raced here, Dad Bobby raced here, and now Graham would love to take home a victory today. The red alternate tires come off, black primaries going on, no adjustments to the 15. Nice stop, fuel being added. Now waiting.
Oh, disaster for Graham Rahal to take that long on the fuel.
Still sitting there.
Oh, man.
Disaster. No fuel flowing at all.
Get in. Buckeye.
Wow, that's going to drop Graham Rahal maybe even out of the top 5.
All these cars that pitted way after him. There's 5 cars just beat him out of the pits right there.
Rosenquist, Harvey, Herder, Dixon. He's going to be 7th or 8th. What a nightmare.
I'll tell you who made a lot of ground up was Will Power on that pit stop
exchange. Watch this ball.
Here
comes Pato Award on hot tires in fury.
Guys, I'll tell you who was the big winner there. Was Palou. Alex Palou is in the top 4 on rotation. That was huge for him. Pitted on lap 12. And he's ahead of this group.
Will Power has also jumped up to 3rd. So those guys that pitted early on that cycle got some clean air. Their outlaps were fast, and they move forward as Dixon looks down the inside of Harvey.
Oh, I thought Award was going to have a moment there trying to send it up the inside of Colton Herder, but now Award's got to be careful because Felix Rosenquist is back there.
You got Colton Herder and Pato Award, the old teammates from Indy Lights for Andretti Autosport. They know how each other drives so well. They battled for the championship. It was Award who won that 2 years ago.
And Dixon's going to be trying very hard to get by Harvey here to see if he can get himself into clean air.
And with all that drama, Newgarden now has an almost 11-second lead over Ferrucci. And Power has closed the gap to Ferrucci down to 1 second.
Colton Herder in 8th. Dixon up ahead. Here we go. Here's a move. Pato Award on his old teammate. Canada Corner. Outside is the long way round right there.
Everybody's on the harder black compound tire, so we'd expect to see a little more sliding around.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more fall off. These tires, the way these guys are racing each other, they're going to fall off quick.
Conserve overtake. Conserve overtake. You're plus half a second to Rosenquist.
Santino Ferrucci just took a little chunk of time out of Joseph Newgarden. It's down to 9.8 seconds now from in excess of 10 seconds. Power, Palou, Hunter Ray, top 5. For last year's winner, Alexander Rossi. He is in 12th position.
It's a good recovery from the start of this race. Coming all the way from the back now, so it's moved up to midfield, but he's out of sequence to these guys as well.
Felix Rosenquist, Pato Award down the hill, turn 5. Ganassi versus Arrow McLaren SP. It's tight and there's contact. Only minor, but enough to give Rosenqvist the advantage.
I need bottom end, man. I've got nothing. Yeah, copy. This is what we have right now. It'll help you in the long stint here. Just stick with it.
That was the voice of Pato O'Ward. I need more bottom end. I've got nothing. Expand on that, if you would, Pat Paul.
I'm not really sure what he means by bottom end. Either he needs more power coming off the corner, or
I think it's power off the corner, low revs. That's a Chevy racing a Honda, so some frustration for O'Ward right now. And remember, earlier we had Will Power complaining about his gearing, also a bottom end kind of power issue off the corner. So perhaps the power band is a little narrower on the Chevys. For so many years, the Hondas, Paul, always known for having good drivability off the corner and more torque.
Here's the gap of 10 seconds right now. That's what 10 seconds looks. Half the front straightaway, Townsend. And Santino's done a nice job kind of stretching away from Power.
Well, for Power to work himself back into third place is pretty impressive after the pit sequence.
And this is impressive for Dale Coyne Racing. 2 cars in the top 4 placings.
So check this out on the left-hand side. Something new we're doing on pit time differential. Comparing the 2 drivers, Alex Palou and Ryan Hunter-Reay, their pit in difference, advantage Palou by almost a second. Their pit out lap difference, almost 2/10 advantage Palou. That led to a 1 second total time gain, Palou versus Hunter-Reay, and that made the difference between 4th and 5th.
You know what else is making the difference is he just turned the fastest lap of the race on the last lap on the black, so he is making good use of these tires, Hinch.
Yeah, guys, this is one of the most critical points of the race. With the on-track passes being so hard, with the field being so competitive, your pit sequence can be everything, your in-laps and your out-laps. That's going to be overtake usage is going to come into play, how old your tires are you caught in traffic on the way in or out. This is going to be a very, very big test, and Alex Palou doing a phenomenal job over a series champion.
Well, his teammate at Dale Coyne Racing, but on the Vassar Sullivan side of it is Santino Ferrucci. That lead was 10.5 seconds. It's now 8.5 seconds. So Ferrucci has taken little nibbles of time out of Joseph Newgarden, who, in fairness, could be in slight conservation mode. But it's been a good passage of time for the rookie, Alex Palou. NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar is brought to you by Honda, an official vehicle of the NTT IndyCar Series. NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. And by Liberty Mutual, only pay for what you need. And we're just getting going here with this first of 2 races this weekend. Tomorrow on NBC, we will see you at noon Eastern for the second race this weekend, round 4 of 14, but we'll have coverage on the NBC Sports Gold app at 10 Eastern if you want to join us for live qualifying. So 2 sets of qualifying for both races, and it's not the multi-phase format of qualifying either. It's just quickest driver out of the 2 groups, 2 separate groups, gets that pole position, and today it was that NTTP1 award went to Joseph Newgarden for the 2nd time this season. Dave, you've got to spare a thought for Graham Rahal, who was going so well. He was within 2 seconds of race leader Joseph Newgarden, came in for the stop. What happened?
So they did not get the fuel obviously flowing when they needed to. No other changes on the stop. The tire change was flawless, no wing adjustments, but sat there and waited as no fuel was flowing and gave up that position, now back in 11th spot. Did check with the team. Neil Fife is the strategist who now has to figure a way to get Graham back to the front, and he indicated that they got all of the fuel into the car eventually. So when he left, full tank, but it's now Neil's job to figure out what's going on from here.
Very similar situation as to what happened to Rossi last year at the Indy 500. You plug in, and there's an internal valve inside that fuel filler, and when that doesn't open, Townsend, the fuel doesn't flow.
And if the fuel doesn't flow, and you're not going to go in that 6.5 or 7 seconds, it makes for a really tough comeback. Graham Rahal 21 seconds behind Newgarden. I think he had a chance to leapfrog Newgarden by going a lap further in that pit sequence.
Let's listen to some radio from Joseph Newgarden, race leader.
The blacks didn't seem to hold on much better than the reds. Didn't seem to be a whole lot better. You were still faster on reds toward the end of that. Yeah, copy that. So kind of just a direct offset.
That was the voice of Tim Cindric, president of Team Penske, and also the strategist calling the shots on the number 1 of Joseph Newgarden, also the father of Austin Cindric, who's been a winner in recent times, in recent days in NASCAR Xfinity Series action. Hey, James Hinchcliffe, let's get you on the line. Pretend you got your helmet back on, entering turn 1 here at Road America. Take us for a full lap, Hinch.
I've been dreaming about it all day, watching these guys through turn 1 here. You use a lot of the runoff. It's very bumpy, but you need it to open up the corner. Downhill quite aggressively here on the brakes in turn 3, but exit is everything. This is the second longest straight, all the way down to the big brake zone. Huge passing opportunity into turn 5. It's actually the second hardest braking event that we have of the entire IndyCar season. The first being last week, turn 1 at Indy GP. Beautiful scenery. Again, very, very downhill, down to first gear, a little bit of curb on the apex, a little bit of exit curb. Again, very bumpy, but you need to use it. Turn 6 here, one of the most challenging ones on the track. Very, very uphill on entry. It flattens out at the apex. It really gets the back of the car a little loose. Very close to flat out through turn 7 in qualifying. Definitely not happening here in the race. Another downhill brake zone into a tight left-hander, and then it sets up for one of the most famous corners in the IndyCar calendar, the carousel at Road America. I used to sit up against the fence and watch Paul Tracy go around this place a little bit faster in this corner than anybody else. It is an absolute neck stretcher. You're balancing the car on the edge here. You're trying to keep the car in check, your hands in check, your head in check, and then flat out through the kink. You don't want anything to go wrong there. We've talked about the marbles that are going to build up there as this race goes on. We saw what happened at the end of that race last year with Colton Herder and I going into that corner. And then down again, hard on the brakes for Canada corner, a personal favorite of Paul's and mine. And it's setting you up for the end of the lap here, turn 13, a little uphill, big bump in the middle there, almost flat out, all the track on the exit into the last corner. Second gear, long corner, big flow. Again, use all the track there, and a great run up this very, very steep front straightaway to complete a lap at one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world.
It sure is. Thanks for that, Hinch. Great job. And it's a great job being done by Joseph Newgarden. Now back up to almost 10 seconds out in front of Santino Ferrucci, Will Power third. Let's talk about Scott Dixon, 5-time champion and the only driver to win a race this year. The orange, blue and white PNC Bank Honda. There it is. And Scott at the moment is running in 7th place.
He was up to 6th and just on that pit stop exchange lost 1 position. So he really hasn't moved forward at all, Townsend, which has been a surprise. He made a couple spots on the start and he's really just kind of settled in there.
Well, I wonder if this stint on the blacks, he's just going to ride a bit, try to get good mileage and maybe overcut, go 1 lap further on the next round of stops until he gets the red tires back on, and then try to make hay if he can get some clear track. But I've been watching the championship points as they run. This will be a shorter IndyCar season in terms of number of races, and so the effect of each race is more significant. And right now, Dixon would lead Newgarden by 12 points, Pagenaud in 3rd. And how about Colton Herder? He'd be 4th in the championship as he runs right now for the number 88 car.
While we look at Scott Dixon, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the crew chief for this number 9 car, Blair Julian, who has been Scott's crew chief. He's front tire changer. He's been like a brother. He is like a brother. He's been like Scott's bodyguard for a long, long time. Want to congratulate Blair. He just became a U.S. citizen, and he is very, very pleased and proud of that fact. Well done, Blair.
Yeah, the Chip Ganassi guys obviously very, very good in pit lane, but over the course of the 2019 season, if you look at all those pit sequences from all the races, positions lost and gained, they were actually down 12 positions over the course of the season. A pretty shocking stat for how good they are physically in the box. The guy that was the best through pit sequences last year, Will Power, and he picked up a couple stops in this first round.
Yeah, Will Power's really kind of made a lot of gain on that pit stop exchange, but Townsend, he hasn't been able to close the gap to Ferrucci in that Aim Vassar-Sullivan car. That car is performing, and this one of Palou, performing really well, this team this weekend.
Well, big difference between running out front all by yourself like Newgarden and running with a little bit of traffic. I know the gap is 2 seconds for Rucci to power, but at a fast track like Road America, especially in corners like the carousel, that turbulent air trails further and further back in the quick corners. And I think a lot of guys are just trying to manage their tires and trying to pounce in the pit sequence.
Here is the AutoNation Sirius XM Honda, the pink one, and AutoNation's Drive Pink campaign. Jack Harvey, Meyer Shank Racing, spoke with Mike Shank after last weekend, and they had such high hopes of a really good result. They got caught out by a yellow coming out at the wrong time, and then late in the race, the car ran shy of fuel, and Jack Harvey ended up getting a 17th place finish instead of maybe a top 5. So this is going to be a really good kind of settling result if Harvey can stay where he is in 6th place at the moment. He had a couple of top 10s last year, which was a really good boost, but to commit to doing the full NTT IndyCar Series this year was a big step for Jim Meyer and Mike Shank, co-team principals, and they leave it in the hands of the crew and Jack to do the job. And so far, here at Road America, so good. So this will be a nice way to start the weekend as we are eking closer to halfway through this REV Group Grand Prix at Road America.
Settling into the pace. He got a little bit swallowed up on the start. Obviously, you know, front row start for him with the experience of Newgarden up there, Harvey. These veterans just kind of swallowed him up on the first corner.
Paul, just think about how far they've come since last year. Remember, he was the first one to pit because they really didn't have a car with that much pace, and they had to try something. The yellow that they would have needed to make that work, it never came. When I talked to Jack yesterday, he said, we're in such a better position this year and feel like they can win based on pace and good strategy. So far, running very, very well right now in 6th.
Just at the head of this group is the 55 of Alex Palou, who has made up 10 positions since he started and is running well. There he is, enjoying time. He's sandwiched in between 2 Indy 500 winners and 2 champions. That's not a bad place to be in just your 3rd race in IndyCar. Doing a nice job, checking in up front. Newgarden still 9.5 seconds ahead of Ferrucci. That's remained pretty consistent. A little behind this group, Rosenquist is in the top 10. Graham Rahal's made up a few more seconds and 1 more position to claw his way back into the top 10. On a beautiful summer afternoon here at Road America, this just glorious piece of property in excess of 600 acres, this track that is world famous, and those first couple of laps were worth remembering for sure, some more than others.
And Scott Dixon is in the pits, hits the marks perfectly. The CGR crew goes to work, gets all 4 tires off. Another set of blacks going on. It doesn't look like any adjustment, so it looks like Scott is happier with his car than he was in the first stint. Mike Hall, you know, is trying to find ways to get the 5-time champ further up the grid.
Yeah, you had to do something, Townsend, because he was stuck behind 4 cars and really just not going anywhere. So this is what Will Power did on the undercut. Maybe this will make some positions.
Yeah, Will Power and Alex Palou did that. Want to remind you too, while we've got the chance, that the stars are aligning for a tournament like no other. You can watch Charles Barkley, Steph Curry, Patrick Mahomes and more teed up at Lake Tahoe. It's the American Century Championship. It continues tomorrow at 3 Eastern on NBC. And a reminder that this IndyCar telecast here at Road America is presented by Liberty Mutual.
That golf tournament up there in Lake Tahoe looks like such a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Aaron Rodgers fired a pass to the guy on the pontoon boat? I don't know if you saw that highlight last year.
Yeah.
One lucky fan made a great diving catch. But right now, it's Ryan Hunter-Reay trying to catch the rookie in the 55 car, Alex Palou, who continues to demonstrate terrific poise and pace. Now, Scott Dixon pitting there on lap 25. The strategy there is split the final stint evenly as Palou comes to pit lane on lap 27.
A lot of guys coming.
So that first stop was successful. Oh, he's trying to get down to that pit speed. Remember, 2 phases, 90 miles an hour, Dave, down to 45, down to nothing.
And primary blacks going on with no laps on them. They had some used reds in the pits, but they will go with the primaries again here. Palou waiting now and gone.
Just a reminder about the Firestone Firehawk tires, that the 2 compounds in IndyCar racing, you have to use each compound once for at least 2 green flag laps of running. Here's Pagenaud.
That was not a great stop by Palou. 10.5 seconds versus a Penske stop here. Typically always in the 7-second range.
Yeah.
Dixon long gone.
And there you see the bad pit stop for Palou, because it should have been close between Dixon and Palou.
Here comes Rossi around the outside. Hot tires, cold tires. We'll try the over-under here. Palou can't get the power down.
Overtake if you need it.
He's going to take that inside line. He's going to make Rossi go around the outside. Rossi's going to squeeze his way through on the inside. Forceful stuff.
Rossi with a nothing to lose mentality, not only for this race, but for this season right now. I'm sure Palou knows that. He's got a great result for the rookie. Palou does. And I'm sure he's thinking, okay, I'm going to let Rossi go here and just try to hang on to the back. But let's go back to Palou's pit stop, because it should have been close on the blend with Dixon and Palou. Watching closely, everything going pretty smooth, and then a tire bounces up and really distracts the right front tire changer as they're trying to get the wing change.
The outside front tire changer had an issue as well. It was just a couple seconds long, but when you watch Newgarden and Power Pit here, these guys don't make mistakes on the pit stops.
They really don't. They're some of the best in the business. And right now you've got a very quiet, which means a very happy Joseph Newgarden putting on another set of the primary black tires. No adjustments, it looks like, to this car. Tim Simpson said, oh no! The number one is stalled. They've got the starter at the back now. They're waiting. He did have a big lead. Firing up his speed gear. He's got to get it out of gear. Will Power now going around him. Santino Ferrucci going on. They're still trying to fire up Joseph Newgarden. He is not going.
Oh, they haven't seated the starter. This is the worst feeling in IndyCar racing.
It's now running. He is gone, guys. He is finally off and away. But that is two front runners that have really lost some time in pit lane.
That was
stalled
disastrous.
Twice. He stalled twice, and then they couldn't get the spline on the starter seated, and it was just spinning.
And he is going to drop to about 8th or 9th, 10th now.
From the lead Penske car and the lead car in the race to the third place Penske. You saw Santino Ferrucci go by, Will Power go by.
Well, look at this.
And Dixon and Power, the old rivals. Power runs long. Dixon's going to try and come back up the inside. Can't do it. Will Power slow off the turn. Now go the outside into turn 6. Power loses control.
This is the undercut that Dixon took the early stop. Now he's fighting for the lead.
Power with a huge lockup, a massive tank slapper to hold on. Dixon's so smart to see that coming in his mirrors and avoid the contact.
And in the background, looming large, is Santino Ferrucci, the Sealmaster car. Good stop from the Dale Coyne with Vassar Sullivan crew. They got the 18 out, and Ferrucci has been in the mix all day long in the top 5, top 3, and now he's mixing it up with a couple of champs.
Look at this braking maneuver, deep on the brakes, locks it up. Both of them lock. He comes off the corner, blocks the inside. It looks like Dixon's got the advantage, and Will just sends it in there.
I mean, Power just kind of reckless in the brake zones, and Dixon knows it and must be kind of frustrated, like, dude, come on, we're going to wreck if you keep driving like that.
You see Jack Harvey in now for the Marshank Racing car. Those are primaries going on as well. Seems like the black tires are the way to go. Although, I did hear, as Oliver Askew left the pits on alternate reds, his team told him that the degradation has been good on their sets of reds.
This might be the race lead right here. Harvey comes out right here. He's going to cycle out in 4th. 5th
is 1, 2, 3, 4 is Ryan Hunter-Reay. 5th is Jack Harvey.
Watch how dicey it gets here with Palou up to speed. Coming up on Harvey. Harvey's going to have to very quickly get those harder black tires up to temperature. Got to have a very good exit here in turn 3 to make sure these guys don't get a run. It looks like
nice exit by Palou. Big exit there by Palou. He's going to make a move on Rossi. All 3 of these cars that look identical to each other, so it's hard to tell them apart, but this is going to be an out-braking maneuver.
So Palou returns the favor on Alexander Rossi down into turn 5. Meanwhile,
behind us. What you got to do?
Bigger picture, guys. Think about this. It is game on for Scott Dixon for a chance at 3 consecutive wins to start this 2020 season. Incredible when you think about where Dixon started in 9th place, played the smart strategy game, leapfrogged his way up there. A little bit of bad luck for a couple of drivers, including race leader Joseph Newgarden, who is way down in 14th place, some 36 seconds behind Marcus Erickson.
Well, the undercut has really been an advantage on pitting early, because Power was dropped down to about 7th or 8th on the first stop, pitted early, jumped up to the top 3. Dixon played that same move and moved up now, effectively second on the road as Erickson comes in from the lead.
So Erickson pits from the lead, but he'll drop way down the order here after completing the stop.
And Marcus Erickson rolls the number 8 into the pit box. Pretty clean, pretty standard position here. He's gonna come out, he's a little bit long on the stops. He's throwing on red tires, so this is good. This is one of the few teams to try for another set of reds here. We're gonna see how these ones last towards the end of this race. Gets away, no problem. He's gonna cycle out, I imagine, somewhere around his teammate Felix Rosenquist, who had gone on the shorter stint, kind of like Scott Dixon. But guys, those guys are going to have to make that time up somewhere. That fuel, that lap that they came in early on the shortstop, it's going to come back at them later. Dave?
Hinch Rossi is back in, and he's doing everything that his team could ask of him. He was told that he was hitting his fuel mark. He was told that his pace was excellent. If he can get the track position, the 27, last year's winner could have a shot. There'll be a lot to happen before that happens. We'll return to Road America for more action. The NTT IndyCar Series coming at you.
Still a lot of racing to go. It's going to be interesting to see if the genius that is the strategist Mike Hall can find a way to get Scott around Will Power.
Great run so far for Santino Ferrucci, and entertaining as well. Jimmy Vassar told me that he was disappointed in what he'd gotten as far as results so far this year. Ferrucci's been doing a great job behind the wheel. He said, we haven't put him in a position that we should have as a team. So this weekend so far, so much better for Santino Ferrucci. Ryan Hunter-Reay, that loose race car in practice, that loose race car in qualifying, that's a loose race car in the race. He was asked last time if they wanted him to take any adjustments back out of the car. He said, no, I will deal with it. That is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Jack Harvey, such a good qualifying run again for him today. It's been pretty smooth sailing for the 60 bunch so far, and Harvey runs in 5th position. Alex Palou is next. Remember, Alex had issues earlier today with the pit speed limiter. That has been overcome so far. He's hit it right on the button, so to speak, all day long, and has been doing a fantastic job. And Colton Herder, last year's pole sitter, so quick in the 88 car always at Road America. This year, struggling to make his way, keep his way in the top 10, but doing very well. And then Graham Rahal, earlier fuel not going into the car as soon as it was pitted, finally got it full of fuel, and Rahal working his way back into the top 10. Hinch?
Simon Pagenaud didn't like his car in qualifying, didn't like the balance in practice, and he didn't like it at the start of this race, but they've been working on it, and he's been reading the script from last week where he qualified at the back and drove his way up to a podium. He's up to 9th now with still some ways to go. Right behind him, his teammate and pole sitter, early race leader Joseph Newgarden, obviously struggled with that pit stop, with that stall, but again, these guys are great at coming back. As he looks at the inside of Pagenaud now, Joseph is definitely not done. He is not going to settle for a 10th place.
What a strange qualifying session for Pato O'Ward. He told me before the race that he had 20 degrees of play in his steering wheel, and he couldn't hardly drive the race car. Still had a 12th place qualifying event. I talked with Taylor Kyle in the Arrow McLaren pits, and he said they had a steering arm alignment issue, and it's been much okay during the day for Pato O'Ward. Hitch, back to you.
Marcus Erickson running 12th right now. He has really loved the preparation of this Chip Ganassi racing team. He said he's shown up to the racetrack every time with a car he's comfortable driving, and he loves the fact that he's not a rookie anymore. He's coming to these racetracks with a little bit of knowledge. He thinks that's really helping his performance. He's loving the team's performance. He is really enjoying his sophomore season so far in the NTT IndyCar Series.
He's doing a really good job. He said, too, the incredible mileages that he's been putting in cycling in Indianapolis throughout the week has helped him adapt to these hotter conditions with the aero screen. As we got 2 guys up the front, as far as pole positions won and races won, are amongst the best in IndyCar history. Will Power leads Scott Dixon, leads Santino Ferrucci.
Dixon shadowing Power, Townsend, but I don't think, unless a really good opportunity opens up for him to get by Power, there's really not a huge urgency, because he's got a 62-point lead in the championship on Will Power. He's not a factor yet, and he's currently got a 47-point lead on Simon Pagenaud, who's moved into the top 10. He's now 2nd in points.
Well, also, don't forget that Dixon last pitted on lap 25. Power, Ferrucci, Hunter-Reay on lap 27. 2 laps of extra running for Scott Dixon is a lot of fuel around Road America, so I'm sure he's perfectly happy to sit right here in the draft off Will Power and get that famous Dixon fuel mileage. The best guy in the series at making mileage and lap time at the same time. Now both these drivers, Power and Dixon, will have sticker blacks to finish the race. That's where I expect Dixon to make his move for the win, is in that sequence. Watch for the out lap and the first flying lap from Scott Dixon. It should be fast.
Guys, do you know that this is the 30th time IndyCars have raced at this amazing venue, Road America? We want to take you all the way back to 1982, where Hector Rabake climbed aboard his car for the final time in his career. What was the result? A win. Because he got the lead on the last lap. He led one lap in his career. He won one race in his career and then called his retirement. And then our stats guru, Ross Thompson, he mentioned to us earlier that that was the only race Hector Rabake actually finished in his career. That's the ultimate mic drop. See ya, I'm done.
He was also driving for Jerry Forsyth. I saw there standing in the pit, so that's an awesome day.
And by the way, that car is going to be sold at Mecum Indy a little later, coming up when we are done. So there you have it, Mecum, 7:30 tonight Eastern, right here on NBCSN, and it continues tomorrow as well. Will Power in the Verizon Chevy in control. You join us here at the REV Grand Prix at Road America, and this telecast brought to you by Liberty Mutual. 20 laps to go. And you got two of the biggest names in the sport, first and second. Team Penske's Will Power, Chip Ganassi Racing, Scott Dixon. And then you've got a young guy in just his second year in IndyCar racing. In the background right there, Santino Ferrucci in the Sealmaster number 18, racing for Dale Coyne with Vassar and Sullivan. Now, it has been a very good week for Jimmy Vassar, the 1996 IndyCar champ, and his business partner James Sullivan. There they are. There's Sully on the left and Jimmy with his back to us there. They have been working so hard, and last week was a super weekend. It also involves our Townsend Bell, because in the resumption of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in the GT Daytona class, Jimmy and Sully's cars with AIM Vassar Sullivan finished first and second. Our T-Bell on the podium, and here Santino Ferrucci, guys, could possibly get his first IndyCar podium. Let's take you back and listen to some radio.
It's looking like Dixie's got a set of sticker reds, which means he started on used reds. Looks like Power might go to blacks. I don't know. Everybody's thinking like it's a coin toss, including your teammates.
So that's Jimmy Vassar just kind of laying it out as he always does, being totally transparent with his driver. We're not sure on the final set of tires. Nobody knows which will be the compound to go with. Paul, if it were you, based on what you've seen, would you gamble reds or blacks at this point?
Well, at this point, if I had sticker reds, obviously I would go that direction. If I had sticker blacks, I would go with sticker blacks. I don't know if I would do a set of used tires with 4, 5, 6 laps on them. The pace right now hinges mid-49s for these guys on blacks.
Yeah, guys, it's definitely a tough call. I mean, the Firestone Reds have been hanging on there, but the blacks are going to be a little bit more consistent over the run. If I'm Santino Ferrucci, I'm in a good position. I ran well on the Reds before. I think I would go with the sticker Reds. Dave?
So Ferrucci has used reds, and he was asked what he would prefer. They do have sticker blacks in the pit, but I believe that Ferrucci has told them that he prefers the used reds. Now, remember, they're not well used. They only had them on for a lap or maybe 2 this morning, guys.
Yeah, but 2 laps around here is, you know, with an out lap, that could be 12 miles. So, I don't know. Last year, Colton Herder was caught out on used reds on his opening stint, but everything's a little bit different this year.
Track is a lot more rubbered up now at the end of the race, so you can maybe afford to go with a used set of tires, but I don't know, for me myself, as we see the teammates battling here.
Newgarden on Pagano makes the pass in turn 1. 17 seconds behind. If there was, I was about to say, if there was a yellow, and we've got a car in the gravel trap.
Looks like
Jack Harvey.
Oh boy, he's thrown away a top 5.
This is going to be interesting.
Far enough off the track that they might be able to get a safety vehicle there and pull him through.
They've got to go yellow. Wouldn't be safe.
Well, our chief steward, oh, there you go, yellow.
Last year, this race went caution-free. This year, not the case.
So it's going to be a huge race on pit lane under yellow here, and a huge race on the restart. And just think back to how terrific the start of this race was. Look out, guys.
Oh, yeah. What happened to Jack Harvey? This is actually the first yellow in 3 years here at Road America. This will tell us the story.
He lost it on the brakes, locked up the rears. It stepped sideways and got it corrected in the right direction. He should have got the power on and tried to drive through there, but
I wonder if he stalled. I wonder if the rear tires were locked up, like he lost power, maybe from the spin.
What a bummer for Jack Harvey. There was a top 5 waiting for him. He'd driven so well in the Meyer Shank Honda today, not to be. If you like what you see today, we'll come back tomorrow because the IndyCar season rolls on with this doubleheader here at Road America. The action continues at 12:30 Eastern on NBC. We are the home of the Indy 500. Looking forward to that, and we want to thank Geico for this wonderful aerial coverage today. You'll see more of it tomorrow as well. It's a little earlier tomorrow and not here on NBCSN, on NBC from noon Eastern. Now, we have heard reports from the Meyer Shank team that something actually happened with the 60 AutoNation Sirius XM Honda. We only had that one angle, the one that we showed you, and Jack Harvey's not a guy who's kind of prone to making driving errors, so, and that's why that car, maybe Paul, to your point, he couldn't fire it up and plow it through the gravel trap.
Okay, we got the big pit stop coming. These cars have long first gears. They're prone to stalling like Will Power did last week, Dave.
Paul, you called it the big pit stop here. In fact, they asked Santino Ferrucci, do you want a wing adjustment, a little contact right there? And Ferrucci said, no, I want a nice, clean stop. So no wing adjustment, 4 tires. They will be used alternate tires. We'll see if that takes Ferrucci to the win here at Road America. Pitch.
Battle of the Crews up here as the 2 leaders come in. They are 1 box apart. They are both going to the black Firestone primary tires. Dixon clean on the mark. Same with Will Power. The 9 crew seems to be done a little bit earlier. And then, the number 12, he's spinning from up on the jack. They did not lower the jack in time. And Scott Dixon got out well in front of Will Power. Will's lucky to not have lost more spots there in a very busy pit lane.
Santino lost 5 spots on that pit stop exchange. I don't know what happened. It looked like
avoiding Dalton Kellett. That's what happened, Paul.
And avoiding Dalton Kellett, and look who jumped up. Joseph Newgarden gained a couple of spots there as well. That was fast and furious.
What happened to Will Power there? I understand the jack hesitation, but that was an uncharacteristically slow stop in this race-defining moment. Let's see how he hits his marks. Right on the button. Slow to get up in the air, maybe a little bit.
Teammates came in. They were just up in the air. The right rear, the tire was spinning. He had dropped the clutch a little bit, but here comes Santino coming out, and Dalton's coming in, and that's just so costly. Oh, what
They asked him if the front ring was okay. You see no contact there, but Ferrucci slowed down and lost those positions.
Almost ended
his day here.
So a little slow on the right rear Will Power. I also noticed the air jack operator having a little hard time getting the air jack removed. There's going to be some irritated drivers here on this restart. You're not going to want to miss it.
16 to go, but we're still going to be circulating under yellow for a little bit. This is going to be a shootout to the end. Can't wait. Stay with us. Well, we were ready to go back to racing here in the REV Grand Prix at Road America. Jack Harvey's car got rescued by the AMR safety team. Now Marco Andretti has come to a stop. And he was reporting on the radio, just no power. What do I do?
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys with the Hondas having issues right now. We've got Felix Rosenquist in the pit with the engine cover off. They're doing something with the motor there. Could this be a problem? Yeah, Harvey had a problem. Could this turn into a potential issue for Scott Dixon, who's the front-running Honda?
Well, let's go back and take a look at
there was contact between
on
Dixon.
pit lane. Watch power fade here. Let's see. Oh, Dixon's just out braking him to, I believe, the second pit speed line. Power didn't do anything. Power was driving straight ahead. No fade whatsoever. I think Dixon just braked a little later.
There's a little nudge there. This is the moment, though, that Dixon wrestled the lead away from Will Power.
Watch the air jack in the back. A little hesitation on pulling it here.
Oh, no.
Oh, more issues here.
What is that big black piece?
That's part of the blower, like the jet blower thing off the back of the truck. That car just didn't seem to pull itself.
Well, on a day that started with Marco being a victim to a barrier stuck to his front wing, it just ends in equally brutal fashion.
16 laps was a stretch for Dixon to get there, but as this car sits of Andretti's, this is only helping him.
All right, let's hear from Jack Harvey. He's with Dave.
Yeah, going to help us solve a little bit of a mystery here. We just caught the end of it, Jack. What happened going down into turn 1?
Actually, what happened in turn 3? We got to turn 1, hit the brake, the pedal went to 4. Felt like a big chattering from the exit of 1, went to brake for 3, just nothing in the rear, just locked and spun, and I mean, nothing to do about that when the brakes fail in that way, you know.
All right, and such a strong run for the car. Before that, you had a fast car.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, like, all year we have, you know, and that's what's frustrating at this point, because it's another weekend where we've been running, you know, I think for a top 5, and something has kind of randomly happened that's taken us out of contention, and, you know, it's just really disappointing for me, for Meyer, Shank, and for the whole team.
Look at this. Into turn 1, Newgarden with a lockup. Gets by Ferrucci there. And Power tried to go with Dixon. Now Newgarden loses that spot to Ferrucci. Down into 3. Dixon, Power, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Alex Palou, the top 4.
It was not a great restart by Dixon, but Will Power dropped the wheel off, and now Dixon's got a little bit of a gap. Santino has gotten back by Newgarden. Newgarden trying to work his way back by Graham Rahal.
And these are two guys that feel like they should be winning today, that have been frustrated as Sato enters the fold. 2 by 2, they go through turn 5.
We knew it was going to be a wild restart, and we're getting it. Further back in the pack, on the inside there. Sato mixing it up. Here comes Connor Daly in the mix. Oh, a ward, and that's contact. Daly is off and into the wall.
Big hit for Connor Daly. That'll bring another yellow out for sure, and there it is. That was a big hit. Fast corner, about 130 mile an hour, wide open kink. They made contact on the entry, and that sent Connor into a slide.
Connor saved it, but by the time he got off the track, that was it. There was no chance he was going to finish the corner.
He said, Pato fenced me. He had the nose ahead of Pato.
My shoulder hurts.
And there's no...
he's in pain.
No way you're getting through that corner 2 abreast.
That was big, and we didn't see it. It went off to the left-hand side there. That was nasty, because it accelerated once it got onto the grass. There's Ed Carpenter, team principal. We'll see Ed in action next week in Iowa.
Pretty big hit. It's knocked the whole back end off the car, but here's the replay. They come out of the corner side by side. Pato's on the inside, but Connor's got a wheel ahead, and they just try to go too wide, and it's not happening.
Not in that corner.
And he catches it, and then it just goes straight. Once you hit those tires, it just whips the car around.
And the tires, you know, are filled with so much water that it really is like an anchor. I mean, you're going from well over 100 miles an hour to 0 in the span of about 20 feet. Great save from Daly, but at that point, you can save it all you want, but you're going to run out of road.
Be interested to see, Townsend, if there's a penalty for this. He's hurt. He said on the radio, my shoulder hurts, so.
Yeah. And with back-to-back races and race weekends, that is not what you want to see.
Driver of the US Air Force Chevrolet, what a shame. He's in the best shape of his career. He has had a great start to the season. He's in the top 10 in points prior to today's race.
So here's where it all started. Sato slid down the inside right there, pushed Pato wide, and that gave Connor the move around down the inside, and then they just tried to go 2 abreast, and that corner's just so fast and so tight, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I really got to say that's a racing incident. 2 young guys going for it in a section of track where James, you've been there through a bunch of times. You know it's about a groove and a half wide at best, and late in the race, there's probably a lot of marbles and debris on the outside lane.
Well, that's just it, Townsend. By this point, it's so much dirt through there, and that's a nearly flat-out corner in fourth gear, so you're absolutely hauling a mail. It is very tight, even just for one car, but at this stage of the race, a late restart, you got to go for any and every gap. I'm with you. I think that's a racing deal. Just very unfortunate for Connor Daly.
And think about the Ed Carpenter racing crew as well that have to rebuild that car tonight. It is a very quick turnaround for tomorrow's race that occurs here 11 a.m. local time, noon Eastern.
Full stint of racing still to go. 13 laps, Townsend, still a long time for this. Dixon made an okay restart, but it wasn't fantastic. He kind of went late, and Will Power was right there with him, so I think he's got to change that up. Try a different attack on this next restart.
So this completely takes fuel mileage out of the game, meaning every one of these drivers will be able to turn up the wick and go full rich all the way home. I think the advantage is likely to be on the red Firestone shod cars, which begins with Ferrucci, Rahal, Newgarden, Pagano, Sato, Award, all on reds. I think for the first lap of a restart, that's where you want to be. But I wouldn't give up that for track position, which Dixon, Power, and Hunter Ray obviously hold.
The AMR safety team have been worked hard in the latter half of this race. Jack Harvey, then Marco Andretti, and most recently Connor Daly. We want to give a shout out to Lindy Thaxton, who for many years was part of the IndyCar broadcasting team. She was a host, a pit reporter. She's based in Indianapolis. She's going through some pretty significant health challenges right now. And from your IndyCar family, Lindy, hang in there, fight a good fight, and win that race. The REV Group Grand Prix here at Road America has had a little bit of everything today. Welcome back, Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, Dave Burns, and the newest member of our team, James Hinchcliffe. It's been great to have Hinch's insight. And when Townsend's busy racing his sports car next week, Hinch will be in the booth with PT and myself. So Joseph Newgarden has just pitted while we were in that break and changed from the red softer compound Firestones to the primary. This is what happened a little earlier on that restart.
Had a massive lockup. Both front tires obviously flat spotted them, Hinch, and once those things start to thump, here's another angle. He just laid on the brakes, and both tires lock up big time. Once you flat spot those, you really lose a ton of grip, and they just pop and make all kinds of noise in the car.
Yeah, PT, you can see there's a bump going into turn one on the inside there, and when you get both front tires locking up like that, that's the issue. You've hit something, the car's bottomed out, both fronts locked up, and you could see even as soon as he went through turn one, his hands were vibrating. But he's got new tires now. He's going to do whatever he's got to do. He's going to shimmy, shake, and gyrate his way up if he's got to.
All right, at the front, Scott Dixon, Will Power. I want to take you back to some Will Power radio when he was in front of Dixon. Real quick, have a listen.
What position are we in? Fighting for a win, or what is it? Dixon is fighting for a win. You both have the same amount of overtake left. He'll have to crash if he wants to pass me.
He'll have to crash if he wants to pass me. Well, now it's the other way around. Will's got to pass him.
Green.
Being Scott Dixon, the five-time champion. Power lights it up and gets sideways. That gives Dixon an advantage climbing the hill. Below is all over Ryan Hunter-Reay for that third spot. Let's go. Kellett is in the gravel trap.
More.
Could be another yellow.
Could be another yellow, but Will Power tried hard. Pillow pops out.
No.
Something flies off the car. Dirt flying, and he makes it happen.
Wow, Pillow. What a move to hang on to it and not lose anything on corner exit.
The rookie overtaking the series champion and Indy 500 winner.
Oh, he ran wide. He dropped the wheel in the grass, and that's going to allow
Alex. Focus forward now.
Hunter-Reay to get a run here. He's going to force it down on the outside.
RHR is alongside. The Spanish rookie goes deep on the brakes, but so too does Pillow.
He's wide. The door was wide open for Pillow on the good line.
Caution's out, so racing stops right there. I thought Colton was going to have a run for Dalton Kellett, stuck in the beach over in turn 14.
Tell you what, Dixon is not making stellar restarts. Power has been right there on him, but he lost traction coming onto the front straightaway, and it stepped sideways, which killed the drive. But look at this. Pass on the front straightaway. I think they touched because something flew off the car right there.
it might have been debris from something earlier, but either way, that was a hello on palo to Ryan Hunter-Reay.
That was kind of a Ryan Hunter-Reay style pass that he performed on Helio Castro-Neves to win the Indianapolis 500. Not often you see an IndyCar get on the grass and not go sideways.
I'll tell you what, between the way Dixon has used good judgment and Ryan Hunter-Reay today, both of those guys have suffered fierce, kind of wild attacks from behind and have managed to figure out how to just keep their head and avoid contact. But it's frustrating because when a guy's really aggressive like that, you think you're going to have contact, Paul, you're almost helpless here, because if you defend too much, you could get turned around like Connor Daly.
And you can't be passive. You can't just leave the door open and say, okay, I'm going to give you room.
Yeah.
You've got to defend, you've got to fight, you've got to scratch and claw for every position on the track.
But you have to walk that tightrope, which means keeping your car intact to get to the end. As we see the IndyCar rookie finishes this season. Askew with a 9th in Texas, and then that big crash in the final corner, finished 26th. VK, horrible Texas, came back for a fantastic result at Indy. And Palou, the next rookie up, looking for a great result today. Wouldn't it be awesome for him to finish out things on the podium?
Great rookie battle this year. This is going to be entertaining, like last year, all the way through the season, to watch these 4 young guys go at it.
Well, it will be increasingly frustrating for Santino Ferrucci, because he has not finished on the podium, and if his rookie teammate comes in and snatches a podium straight away after what happened in the pits, Ferrucci was looking good for a podium, but it's not over yet. There's still 10 to go here as we circulate slowly behind the pace car.
So Hinch, Palou just demonstrated how much grip there is on the grass braking for turn 1. Look at what happened here with Power and Dixon coming to the restart. Oh, big lockup. They're getting really aggressive, Hinch. It's going to be another great restart.
It's getting to that point of the race. I mean, we heard Will on the radio, I'm only going to let him by if where he's willing to crash. Obviously, he got by in pit lane, but Will's hungry. Scott Dixon is hating these yellows, guys. The first one was great. It gave him the opportunity to jump Will in the pits, but he's running out of tricks to snooker Will on these restarts. He's done it 2 times in a row now, but Will's going to be right on his gearbox, as we've seen. And then, of course, you got Alex Palou, who's very, very willing to put it absolutely anywhere. So Power needs to be a little bit calm on that right pedal. You can see when he comes to the green here, he gets a little bit too much throttle, a little bit sideways, which gives Scott that little bit of breathing room, but he's probably not going to make that mistake twice. This is going to be the most entertaining dive to turn 1 yet.
Yeah, Paul, I think he hasn't left a big gap to the pace car, and he's had to make a late restart almost into the last corner. So, I mean, back in the day, we used to restart way back at Canada Corner, take off from theirs, but you've got to leave a big gap, and there's a restart zone now, so you're really kind of in a tricky position here of, you know, do you wait to the middle of the corner to try to do it?
I almost feel like Dixon's got to play every game he can to find a gap, not because he's worried about pace, because he doesn't want to get hit from behind. It's just a safety move.
So Alex Palou sitting there in 4th place, pardon me, right behind Ryan Hunter-Reay. First time in the NTT IndyCar Series, and this guy has a huge future ahead, as Townsend found out pre-season when he spoke with him.
Which track on the schedule would you look at and say, I don't know how sure I am about this track, how I will do here?
To be honest, it's like all tracks. Like, I don't know, because I've never been there. Street courses, you need to have confidence enough. Oval racing, I have no clue about oval racing. I never been in an oval, so I don't know how's that gonna feel. And road course is the only thing I say, this is similar to what I've been before, but they are not no way near to what I had experienced in Japan or Europe. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to all the races.
So a chance there to get to know Alex Palou a little more. Guys, as the words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, hang on a minute, Alex Palou isn't in 4th, he's in 3rd, but he's in 4th. So did race control deem that pass wasn't right, or that the yellow had come out? We didn't see the yellow.
I think he got over on the grass, perhaps.
I think the yellow was probably out already.
I'll tell you one thing about Alex Palou that I absolutely loved from that interview. I asked every driver that day, describe yourself in one word. And invariably, every driver used adjectives: fast, motivated, relentless. Alex Palou just looked me right in the eyes and said, warrior. That's the word he chose. So we'll see if he goes warrior mode here on the restart.
Here's going to be the issue on this restart, Hinch. As you know, when you get pickup on these tires, there's a lot of marbles around the track right now from those reds. And you get pickup on these things, and it is like driving on ice out there.
It's like driving in the rain on ice. It's just terrible. And the guys have been very, very cautious, I guarantee you, under these pace laps to make sure they are staying on the absolute racing line and not getting off into the black marbles. You can see there through the carousel. You can see here down the straight to Canada Corner. The red tires seem to pick up marbles a little more aggressively and be harder to clear off. So the guys on reds, they're going to have that advantage, like you talked about, as long as they kept their tires clean.
So clarification on the change of position there between Ryan Hunter-Reay and Alex Palou. Race control explaining that Palou was in fourth. It goes, when the yellow comes out, it goes back to the last timing line. And at the last timing line, Palou was in fourth and Ryan Hunter-Reay was in third. So just clarifying that for you. So you know that Palou's going to go for it again. You know that Power's going to go for it again. We've got it all to look forward to. Santino Ferrucci is going to go for it again on Colton Herder. So... And meanwhile, just quietly working his way up is Graham Rahal and Marcus Erickson and Simon Pagenaud. So there's still so much to play for. When they come around next time, there'll be 8 laps left.
And think about this, at one point in this race, Newgarden would have been within 12 points of the championship lead. As they run right now, Scott Dixon would leave here 58 points ahead of the field after just 3 races. That's why Scott Dixon is desperately going to try to protect not only his position, but I think also his car with that kind of championship lead.
8 laps to go, still a lot of time. We got 32 miles of racing, so think about that. Still got a lot of time, so it's going to be crucial for Dixon to get a good restart, get those tires cleaned up, and not get run over by a hyper-aggressive Will Power who wants that lead back.
Think about this, PT. You started the season with 3 wins in succession back in '03 when you won the championship. How did that feel? That's what's on the line here for Dixon.
Not a big gap to that pace car, I'm telling you.
I guess it didn't feel that good.
Paul,
I'm thinking about this restart. I'm thinking about what I would do.
Let's go. Serious time now. Power is trying to glue himself to Scott Dixon. And watch that car, fourth, of Alex Palou. He's going to try and set up Captain America again. The green is out. Let's go. The run to home here in the REV Grand Prix at Road America.
Palou has a run again on Ryan Hunter-Reay. Here it comes.
And Hunter-Reay's got a run on Will Power.
Palou's looking for an opportunity. He's going to have to go the long way around for that third spot. He's already got Hunter-Reay.
That was a great move. Super clean. No drama on that one. Now he can go and chase after Will Power.
Little surprise there. Palou just had everything for Ryan Hunter-Reay, just out-dragged him up the hill. I don't know if that's less wing angle or gearing, but Ryan Hunter-Reay just nothing going up the hill.
Palou's going to set Power up.
Lap 3.
He got a decent run off the corner. Honda versus Chevy here. Will he try and outbreak him into 5 and go late?
Ferrucci and Rahal.
Oh, this is tight right there.
Little squeeze. Ferrucci with a lot of wheel spin.
Every inch of racetrack being used there as we watch Alex Palou get around Ryan Hunter-Reay again. This time he went to the outside as Ryan defended. What he did is he took himself out of the draft of both Scott Dixon and Will Power. So when he pulled aside, he was in heavy air. No draft in front of him. While Alex Palou not only had a bit of a run, he now had a 2-car draft. That's why he was able to pull not just alongside, but all the way in front before they even got to the brake zone for turn 1.
Dixon's gone.
Palou carried a nice tidy line around the carousel, and he's right there, Townsend.
Dixon's very racy. For Palou, only 27 seconds left to push to pass. Hunter-Reay with 73, Power with 80.
We'll start the race with 200 seconds of push to pass at your disposal, using them in 20-second bursts. Power's got his hands full here. He was hoping to be up challenging for the lead of this race, but now he's defending his second place.
Okay, use overtake. You can use 10 to 11 seconds a lap.
1.2 seconds on that lap advantage to Dixon, so he is showing his dominance in spades this year.
I just get get the feeling Pallot's going to have a shot here on Will Power before this is over.
Under pressure from Herder now, and Ferrucci right there. There's 3 cars here all tied together just behind Pallot. Simon Pagenaud almost touches wheels with Pato Award. They touch again.
Lock up from the Arrow McLaren SP driver, and Pagenaud is through. Up to turn 6. That was the fight for 9th place. Meanwhile, as this race has got just 6.5 laps to go, let's hear from the driver who was involved in that pretty frightening crash. Connor Daly from Ed Carpenter Racing in the US Air Force Chevy. He's with Dave.
That's right, we saw Connor hard into the tire barrier there. Up the hill, opportunity, but then coming down, what happened?
Yeah, I honestly don't really know. Pato got out onto the curb and he was really slow exiting, so I had enough of a run to where, honestly, thought it was going to be okay, but you know, I don't really race with him that much. It was tough there. I mean, that's hard to go too wide. That's probably on both of us a little bit. It's really hard to go too wide there, but I had enough of a run to where you got to take a chance. So you know, can't throw the blame on him, but it's a little bit of a shame because he was on red tires. So I think he could have lasted a little bit longer, and it sucks for us. That was really painful. But you know, U.S. Air Force, these guys, we'll fix it up hopefully, and hopefully we can you know, have a better day tomorrow.
How about fixing you up? We heard you mention your shoulder. How is it, and how do you recover for tomorrow?
It just popped out when I went around, so it was just like really painful for a little bit. So we'll just ice it down and see what happens.
All right, rest well. Go tomorrow.
Thanks.
A lot of strength in the upper shoulders, arms, hanging on the steering wheel, Townsend. No power steering in these cars, so tremendous G-forces and loads through the wheel. And when that thing snaps away, it easily pull a muscle or pop things out of the joint.
Look at Pato there on Pagenaud. Sending it in turn 5, and Pagenaud just absolutely tries to close the door way too late, and he's going to pay for that.
Yeah, he won't want to find Simon after the race. Simon will for sure come and have a word with him.
Well, I don't think Pato did anything wrong there.
He asked for a penalty. Watch, he comes in deep on the brakes and real late.
I don't know. What did Pato do wrong? He had the corner.
Well, he kind of ran a little wide.
Yeah, but if you think about Hunter Ray and Dixon and the way they ran too wide there earlier with guys charging up the inside.
The lap before, the same scenario, Pagenaud drove him clean, so you would expect it back a little bit, right, Hinch?
That's one way to look at it. The other way is, hey, we got a young guy. We know he's aggressive. I know he's going in deep. Maybe I try to check it up and pull the high-low and get the inside line into turn 6. It's easy to say that now, not in the car, but definitely a tough break for Pagenaud.
Pagenaud in that Menard Chevy has been dropped out of the top 10. He's back in 8th. He's got another young guy all over him. That's Rinus VK, one of the 4 rookies this year. Scott Dixon, 1.6 seconds to the good over Will Power. It's back to 1.5 now. And Alex Pallot is not letting Will Power get away either.
And VK looked like he was going to have a run on Pagenaud. Pagenaud dropped a wheel off on the exit of the last corner. We'll see where they pop out here down the hill.
Alex Pallot just turned the fastest lap. Actually, Marco Andretti with the fastest lap. Alex Pallot, 3rd fastest lap at a 48.5. Wonder if Pallot will be able to get close enough to use push to pass, knowing that he has about half the time remaining that Will Power does. There you see on the left-hand side, Pallot with 27, and on either side of Pallot, Power and Hunter Ray sitting pretty strong. If they need the button in the closing laps, they have much more available.
Amazing. Sato's got the most of anybody. Normally, he's pretty liberal with the push to pass button.
How about Rossi? 0.
In the background, in that green and white capstone Honda, is Colton Herder. Colton has had not as flashy a start as last year because he won in the 2nd race in Circuit of the Americas, but he's had a more stable start this year. This 20-year-old,
3rd in points right now,
he will be 3rd in points, and Paul, to my point, you're spot on. Instead of last year, he started the first 3 races 8th, 1st, and 24th. This year, if he stays where he is, as you look at the Firestone telemetry, he will have 7th, 4th, and a 5th. A far more stable start to the season. And one of only 2 drivers, Joseph Newgarden being the other, who finished in the top 10 in the previous 2 races. So, let's see how this pans out. He's got Santino Ferrucci, and he's got Graham Rahal, and he's got Marcus Erickson all lining up for that spot. So that top 5 is not Colton Herder's just yet.
He had the pace last year, Townsend, but he had a lot of mechanical problems. Kind of the same thing Rossi's got going on. He had fuel issues and electronics problems, made a couple of mistakes as Graham Rahal's on push to pass, trying to make a move on Ferrucci. But right now, second year Herder, normally sometimes guys go into a slump. He's having a great season.
Looking very strong and consistent. Riding on the nose cam with Graham Rahal. And I know he'll finish this race probably frustrated, just knowing that once again he had potentially a race-winning drive in hand until a problem there on pit lane. Last week it was an unlucky yellow. But for Graham, he would come out of here 4th in the championship as we see dust flying.
Something with Rossi
Something
again.
happened.
Rossi looks like he went off. Now he locked up. He's got both tires locked up. He's going off again.
Whoa. Brake issues or something.
When it rains, it pours.
This has been a rugged, to say the least, start to the 2020 season for Alexander Rossi.
I think his toe is out of
wing
line
is damaged.
or something.
Now something was happening there. It looks, here we got a replay. He's off.
Oh, I think the left rear suspension maybe is broken.
We're hearing might be a flat tire, a cut down tire, pressure going down. You can see that outside front tire there looks like it's a little below, and it just shovels the grass.
But you also notice the white wall is gone on the right front or left front tire, so you might have had contact right here.
Max Chilton.
Oh, big contact.
No, it's broke the
toe
steering
link.
arm. Yeah, it's broken the steering arm. So now you're a passenger.
Chilton on the inside for Carlin.
That's pretty heavy contact wheel to wheel. That'll rip the steering wheel hinge right out of your hands. Very easy to hurt your wrist in a situation like that.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. No power steering here in the NTT IndyCar Series, so you are just death gripping that wheel, and when you come contact like that wheel to wheel, it can rip it out and can do some damage. So obviously a problem with the car, but hopefully no problem with Alex on that one.
You got a feel for Alexander Rossi, consistently a championship contender. He came into this race, fellas, 23rd in points, and the story just gets worse.
And when you think of that stat we just pulled up, since his win here last year that was utterly dominant, 30 seconds he won by, to have no wins and no poles since then, I don't think anybody would have expected that, especially Rossi himself.
Pelot's line through the carousel, Townsend. I love it. It's so tidy. He's nice and tight around that white line. I think he's got a faster car than Will Power, but he just can't seem to get close enough to utilize that push to pass.
There's an abundance of marbles too coming through the kink there. Or seeing how we're in Elkhart Lake, the home of David Hobbs, our old buddy from F1 on NBC. We should say Clag. Lots of Clag out there. 2.5 seconds to the good is Scott Dixon. He is just 2 laps away from winning 3 races in succession. He has never done that in his illustrious 20-year career. He'd never won back-to-back races to start a season. So he's going to go as Rossi is leaving pit lane in the background there. 2 to go, 8 miles for Scott Dixon to make it 3 in a row.
I got to tell you, I think this combination, and I said it last weekend with his new engineer, when you come out of the box, guys, Townsend and Hinch, when you come out of the box with a new engineer with this much success, you're both sides, from the engineering side and the driver, the confidence becomes so sky high. It could be a combination that is just impossible to beat.
It's pretty cool when that chemistry comes together, albeit maybe a little unexpected. You talk to a few teams in the paddock. A lot of people surprised when Cannon went over there to Ganassi to be Dixon's engineer. But if there was any question, that was put to bed immediately at Texas with a dominant run, and to back it up with 2 more on the trot. It's just that magic, as you know. It's like you and Craig Hampson coming together the wins just come easy, and it's a lot of fun racing this way.
It definitely is, and the thing is, guys, we've seen this before out of Mike Cannon. He had a mid-season driver swap back in 2006 and inherited a little guy by the name of A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. had never won in the Champ Car Series at the time. Him and Mike went on to win, I think, 5 races that year. Again, a combination you weren't necessarily expecting to be successful, especially that quick, but he has done this before, and my God, is he doing it again.
Yeah, A.J. was my teammate and thoroughly put my tail between my legs.
A little bit of friction there for a while too, wasn't there?
I remember how mad you were, Paul, when AJ was showing you the Learjets he was shopping for when he got that big NASCAR contract after those 5 wins.
1 to go, guys, 1 to go, and Dixon, if he can hang in there for 4 more miles, is going to upset a pretty interesting trend.
Oh, look at Palou, look at that pink car looming. Still has 27 seconds of push to pass. Now 13 as he crossed the line.
Got to use it now, use it.
Oh, Power got wide.
Power way wide there, so he's got to set this up, close that gap, use the push to pass. He's not close enough right there, but Power is under pressure.
Big opportunity for Alex Palou. That trend that Dixon's going to upset, by the way, is a different winner every year for the last 9 years. Dixon would be the first to break that. Palou is not close enough to challenge the Team Penske driver in Will Power. Not just yet anyway.
Solid day for Hunter Ray. He's kind of been worked over by a few guys, but he's bringing it home, it looks like, in 4th place.
Just saw Marcus Erickson put a move on Graham Rahal on the outside of turn 5 further back, so a lot of racing still to come with about 7 more corners here at Road America.
And he's closing in on Santino as well. He closed the gap big time in 2 corners. Last real opportunity is down the straightaway here.
And Graham Rahal was out of push to pass.
Let's use it here.
And there you hear Jimmy Vasser saying, go ahead and use it. Use the button. Use up those final precious few seconds. Ferrucci had 14 the last time he crossed start-finish.
He's closing the gap to Herder quickly on that push to pass.
Scott Dixon in his PNC Bank Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. Well, he started the day after practice 15th on the timing order. He's going to end the day first. Scott Dixon wins 3 in a row to start the 2020 NTT IndyCar season. Unbelievable. He has never done that in his career and continues to notch up first.
Wow, Erickson ran off the track at the end there and lost all those positions that he made up in the last couple laps.
Canada corner, Graham Rahal. Erickson's up ahead.
Oh, he lost it on exit. That is wild. I'm surprised he kept it running there and Rahal missed him.
All right, let's go to the Ganassi camp. How about that, Hinch?
Chip Ganassi, you've said it time and time again, you like winners, which means in the 2020 IndyCar season, you only like Scott Dixon so far. How does it feel to start off with 3?
No, it's a good drive, James. You know, he didn't start exactly where we wanted to today, but he persevered. And, you know, it's about the in-laps, it's about the out-laps, all that stuff you don't see on TV. You know, and Scott's a gem at that.
And you guys made a great call doing that short stint, pitting a little bit earlier and getting obviously the top spot in the pits there. Can Scott do this again tomorrow? Can they make the qualifying car better or maybe do it from a little bit further up the grid?
I don't know. We're going to try. I'd like to start a little better if we could. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Awesome. Well, let's go down to Victory Lane and go see how Scott's feeling after 55 laps.
He'll be feeling just fine, and he did an Alex Zanardi-style donut down there at turn 5. Awesome performance yet again from Chip Ganassi Racing and Scott Dixon. He won back in 2017, and now he's got another one to add. He's a 2-time winner, just like our own Paul Tracy here at Road America. 3 wins to start the season off, and that now makes his 49th career win. He could notch up 50 tomorrow. Incredible from the 5-time champion. And he loves this place. He's got some good friends here in this Elkhart Lake area. He's spent a lot of time here over the years. He's got his family here with him, his now growing family with son Kit and the 2 daughters, Poppy and Tilly, and wife Emma. This will be a family celebration tonight. Not too crazy though, he's got to do 55 laps more again tomorrow. time to celebrate. And this checkered flag moment brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Chip Ganassi, the man behind the name, right there with his man. The longest tenured driver at Chip Ganassi Racing in Chip's 30th anniversary season. It could not have started in a better way. Scott Dixon has done it again. 3 in a row. And he's done it in front of fans for the first time at an IndyCar race in 2020. Just superb. He's so measured. He's just so in control. And that was another awesome performance from Scott Dixon. And Hinchy looks pretty good physically as well.
Chip Ganassi in here giving it. These guys are. He's getting the watch on. He's got the hat on. Scott Dixon, my goodness, are you going to let anybody else win one of these things this year?
I don't know how that happened, man. We came out of the pits and they're like, "Oh, you in power first and second." I was like, "How? How?" You know, I know we had huge outlaps and a big in-lap as well. You know, definitely proud to be powered by Honda here. You know, it's a huge weekend for us and double header. We didn't start the weekend. The car's really difficult to drive, but huge thank you to everybody on the PNC Bank crew. We dialed in a little bit better in the race. Still really tricky on the rears, just hard to keep them under, but it looked like there was a lot of other people struggling as well. So that was awesome, man.
All you got to do is struggle less than the other guys right now. It's tough to know what to focus on. Is it 3 wins to start the season, or the fact that you are closing in on 50 wins and moving up that all-time win list? That's pretty impressive.
All of them are fantastic, you know, and it's not me, man. It's, you know, the team just do such an amazing job, you know, to cover all the bases. And, you know, we had a lot of changes in the offseason, as we've spoken about before. And, you know, we're in the business of winning, so we've got to win, you know, and that's, you know, what I'm proud about this team, proud about everybody on it. You know, obviously the partners, PNC Bank and Honda. Without them, you know, and all these fans, it's so cool to be back at a track with fans, and there's tons of them here today. So it's really cool to do that, win today, especially where we started.
I think a lot of people will agree with me that you've got something to do with it as well. Now, I'd say go and celebrate, but you kind of have to do it again tomorrow. Can we get the number 9 back in victory lane and make it 4?
Yeah, I'll see if I can sneak in a couple of beers. We'll see what the boss says. But I don't know, we got any champagne today? Maybe we're going to have a little bit of champagne.
There you go.
Celebrate, man.
You could take the day off tomorrow and still be leading the championship. Scott Dixon, congratulations.
Standing by with Alex Palou, a strong finish today of 3rd. After starting 14th and some issues in qualifying, my friend, how pleased are you with this?
Oh my God, it's amazing. Feels so good. Yeah, it took time. It took time to be here. We're still not there. We need more practice, but we're getting there. Feel more comfortable with the car, with the team. So we're getting there, boys. We're getting there.
Restarts, pretty nice job. We've seen some over the years who do it well in IndyCar. It appears you have a knack for it.
Yeah, I was lucky today, to be honest. All the restarts were really good. All the overtakes went well. So it was one of those days where you do something and it works. We had bad luck in qualifying, but good luck in the race. So yeah, we got to keep the momentum for tomorrow, and hopefully we can put a good show to all these fans.
And the winner was wondering if he could spray champagne because you've got a race again tomorrow. You offered some beers to your boys, but you were going to limit them, right?
Yeah, but we'll do it tomorrow after the race for sure. But I'll owe all of them a lot of beers, and hopefully after tomorrow we'll owe them a lot more.
Alex Palou, the 23-year-old rookie with a strong finish at Road America, and I believe now is 2nd in the rookie championship.
What a performance from Alex Palou following Will Power home. Here's the reaction. Here's the reaction when he stepped from the Dale Coyne Racing with Team Go Honda. Awesome performance. Really great. He'll remember this day for a long time. Let's hear from the man who finished runner-up. Will Power is with James Hinchcliffe.
Will Power, another missed opportunity. We talked before the race. You said every time I qualify and pole, something happens, a mechanical, a yellow flag. Maybe qualifying 5th is going to be the way to do it.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be the right move, but then a pit stop problem cost you the lead, cost you the win. How do you feel?
Yeah, it was unfortunately we had to pit on the yellow, and oh man, I don't know what to do anymore. We had the wrong gears in the car as well, unfortunately, so that kind of hurt those restarts. Yeah, it was a good day. I mean, we moved up. Moved to 2nd. I just don't know what we got to do. I mean, we sit down as a team and try to understand how we can execute a bit better, especially when we just let wins like that go. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to look at the tape. I don't know what happened to pit stop there, but I think we had Dixon covered. He was pretty good, but I don't think he would have got by us.
What do you think? What do you think happened with the gear situation? Was the lap time on the racetrack during the race pace a little bit lower than you were thinking, and so the gears weren't right?
No, it was a wrong gear in one spot, because obviously everything's quick this weekend, so the guys get different gears for the races, and I think they just missed one that was wrong. It made it a bit awkward. It wasn't the end of the day. I mean, we still could have won.
Disappointing, but you got another chance to get it right tomorrow. Best of luck, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ryan Hunter-Reay finished 4th today with a loose race car in practice, a loose race car in qualifying. How did you handle it all day?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, we started with the day with a really good car, good pace. I think over a lap, really hoping to get a great result here today for DHL, everybody involved, Honda, AutoNation. We just didn't know what it was like on the long run, and unfortunately, it was loose in and big understeer off, which is a pretty treacherous combination to deal with. And we just didn't have the pace over the long run. I felt good over a lap, but not on newer tires. But over the run, man, we were drowning, especially that first stint on red. So I think we should be happy with 4th at the moment, because towards the end of the stint, the floodgates were opening a bit there on us, and we salvaged something today. So hopefully tomorrow we can put this 28 DHL Honda up on the top step.
That's right. They got some time to think about it and make it right for tomorrow. Hitch?
Santino Ferrucci, not the result you wanted, but a hell of a race. Tell us what happened in that pit stop that cost you the time.
No, I mean, we were running inside the top 5 all day, and most of the time we were in the top 3, and it was great racing Will and Scott once again, just incredibly quick, and congrats to my teammate on a top 3. And we were just coming out, and I got launched. I didn't have a great launch, and Kellett just came right across the front. I just never saw him, and by the time he was turning in, I was already locked up back on the brakes, grabbing the clutch again, and yeah, you can see I just clipped him, but that cost us quite a few bits of track position.
Were you worried about the possibility of a penalty for an unsafe release or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it, but the problem was it wasn't really unsafe. It was just not a great 0 to 60. So I think we got to get to the drag strip and work on that a bit.
Well, both cars are obviously quick. What do you guys have in the bag for tomorrow?
Man, once again, I think we had the chance to qualify on P1 today, and because of the drive-through, the pit speed limiter, not exactly latching for me, I'd like to get back into the top 5 of qualifying tomorrow and wash, rinse, repeat, and have some more fun out here with the fans.
Well, both these cars have been really quick, guys. We got the podium for Palou. Very strong result from Santino Ferrucci. Back up top.
And Hinch, a great result for Dale Coyne with Team Go and with Vassar and Sullivan, because both those cars in the top 6. What can they do tomorrow? We'll find out. We've got qualifying. They have to qualify all over again, a fresh grid for tomorrow, and our coverage begins at noon Eastern for the second race in this doubleheader weekend. There's 2 IndyCar legends congratulating each other. Taking a look at the Children's Miracle Network moment of the race, 2 titans of the sport fighting it out for the win. It was Will Power versus Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon versus Will Power. There was a tremendous fight over the closing stanza of the race, and obviously Power coming out on top and boasts a pretty handy championship lead. Guys, I can't help but think about Joseph Newgarden. He was in control, led the most laps, finished a frustrating 14th.
That'll be frustrating for sure, but also Graham Rahal, such a strong run going until another problem on pit lane, so he ends up 7th. Good news for all these guys. Paul gets to do it all again tomorrow.
Do it again tomorrow, and a guy that's in a world of hurt right now in terms of the championship is Alexander Rossi, 19th today, needs a rebound tomorrow.
Great day, really great opening day here at Road America. It is always fabulous to be back at this place. Not necessarily for everyone today. The likes, as the boys just said, for Joseph Newgarden and Alexander Rossi. It was a tough day for Jack Harvey and Marco Andretti and Connor Daly. There was so much that happened in this race in spectacular style. Coming up next on NBCSN, it's Mecum Auctions from Indianapolis. We'll see you tomorrow from noon on NBC. Have a great night.